From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Well, this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. One more week until it will be game week. Ole Miss opening the season against Texas Tech in 12 days in Houston, an 11 a.m. kick there on that Saturday morning in the Lone Star State. We'll look at some college football preview stuff today. There is no media availability for football today. There's no practice today because it's the first day of school. They will reconvene tomorrow. They had a scrimmage on Saturday, and fall camp officially over, moving into some self-scouting, some Texas Tech preparation, and the like as they move to afternoon practices. So that and much more coming up today and this week on the podcast. The Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Lunch specials, ribs, daiquiris for as little as $3.99 or as large as 44 ounces if you so wish. Download the Speed Pass Plus. It is an efficient way to pay right there at the pump. Don't have to worry about credit card skimmers, identity theft, and the like, and you save money in the process as well. Head next door to the Oxford Crystal, and you get the pimento cheese bites. Those have been flying off the shelves, so to speak, at the Crystal since they were introduced, so go check them out. You won't get that mayonnaise taste that some of you are scared about with pimento, just a good cheese taste with those pimento cheese bites at the Oxford Crystal. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes. It's right to the bottom line. There's no haggling. You get your quote, and then the rest is up to you. You'll end up going right to Corey. The reason is you get a great product. You get phenomenal service after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy, your truck guy. He'll take care of you long after you have finalized your paperwork. And then speaking of the paperwork, before you finalize it, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on this podcast. Mention any of our family of podcasts even. It's $500 off. From Clark Ford and Amory, 662-257-1900.
So start here today. I was seeing this on the board. I thought it was pretty interesting. SBNation coming out with their S&P Plus ratings for 2018. Bill Connolly heads those up, does a really good job with analytics and statistics and different things for our friends over at SBNation. Stephen Godfrey, one of their national writers. Did you look at this much, Neal?
I did not.
Okay, you hadn't seen this? All right.
I don't think so.
All right, quickly, kind of a quick synopsis. Bill would probably roll his eyes at how I explain this, but what they do with this S&P ranking is they assign a number to every team, and it's based off the 5 factors, which he uses like efficiency, explosiveness, turnovers, that kind of thing, and then a number, and the number is either plus or minus, and it is compared to the average college football team. So kind of a wins against replacement thing for college football, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, one year to the next, a 19 is different than a 19 another year because it's off the average team that season, if that makes sense. Not all 19s would be created equal per se.
I'm only mildly confused.
Only mildly confused?
I think I'm fairly with you.
Okay. So, point being, and we'll break this down a little bit as we go, but the quick synopsis here for Ole Miss. What he did is he did total wins as projected by S&P Plus for every SEC team this season.
Okay.
And what that means is he assigned a percentage to every number of wins that is most likely for the season based off these numbers, preseason. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
You'll figure it out quickly. Okay. So for Ole Miss, like literally the graph I'm looking at has every SEC team, and then it has 0 to 12, and it has a percentage in that block, which is the percentage chance they finish with that number of wins in 2018.
I understand.
For Ole Miss, the analytics higher on the Rebels than the preseason prognostications, if you will. Ole Miss with obviously a 0 to 1% chance to finish with anything 3 or less. That's not shocking. A 5.7% chance at 4.
At 4 wins?
Yeah, 4 wins.
Gotcha.
A 14.5% chance at 5.
Okay.
A 23.6% chance at 6.
I can see that.
A 25.4% chance at 7.
I can see that.
18.1 at 8. 1 out of 5.
A little bullish there, but okay.
8.4 at 9, 2.4 at 10, 0.4 at 11, and 0.0. But what's interesting is I'm doing this. they're basically right in line with A&M almost to a T. A&M and Ole Miss's numbers are right up against one another almost to an eerie point. LSU right in that little tier too.
I can see that.
Those three are kind of lumped into a segment. Arkansas's worse.
Yeah.
State's a little better.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss, LSU, and A&M right there. And I thought it was interesting at least because everybody talks about 5 to 7 wins. They have Ole Miss with a much better chance at 7 than 5, according to the statistics.
I agree with that completely. In fact, little insider, if you're interested at all in the way sausage gets made here, I'll be in Jackson, Tennessee almost all of next weekend. And so I'm putting together 10 weekend thoughts early. I saved some stuff so that it would be kind of easy to throw together. I'll do my official preseason pick. I'm leaning heavily to 7 and 5.
Are you?
Yeah.
What's caused you to shift a little from 6 to 7?
Because the rest of the league has Alabama's a great team. Auburn's going to be a very good team. I think Mississippi State's going to be a real solid team. I think South Carolina's going to be a solid team. I think Georgia's going to be a very good team in the Auburn realm. Ole Miss doesn't play them. I don't think LSU's good. I don't think A&M's particularly good. Arkansas's not good. Vanderbilt's simply not good. I think Ole Miss is going to 4-0 in the non-league.
See that you're going to pick them against Texas Tech in 2 weeks.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah, of course.
The people that are calling for a 28-point blowout, I think you're just your glasses.
Either way would shock me. So yeah,
your glasses are thick. I think Ole Miss wins against Texas Tech. I think they go 4-0 in the non-league. I think they win in Little Rock.
Okay.
And I think they win in Nashville.
Okay, that's 6.
And so if you told me, I think they lose to Alabama, I think they lose to Auburn, and I think they lose to Mississippi State.
Okay. That leaves
3 games.
LSU, A&M, and South Carolina.
I think they lose to South Carolina, and I think they win one of the other 2 on the road. I don't think they win both on the road. I think they win one of the 2 on the road. I think they go 7 and 5, and that would be 3 and 5 in the league. And honestly, if you told me I was off a game, I would study 8 before I studied 6. I don't think they get limited to 5 wins. I think 0 to 4 wins is not happening, and I think 9 to 12 wins is not happening. I think their middle ground is somewhere in the 5 to 8 range, and I'm leaning heavily towards 7.
Yeah, just looking overall, based off this Bill Connolly thing, have Ole Miss at an average of 7.3 wins for the season overall, and an average of 3.7 wins in the SEC overall, somewhere between 3 and 4. A&M at 3.7 SEC wins as well. Arkansas at 2.5 SEC wins. Now, I don't know who A&M plays in the non-conference because they're down to 6.7 overall. Ole Miss is actually a half game better than them overall win standpoint. LSU's at 3.8 right there with Ole Miss as well. Mississippi State at 4.6. Auburn at 5.4. And Alabama at 6.5. So that's how the West is shaking up. If you care about the East, Georgia at 6.2 SEC wins, 10 overall. Missouri at 4.2 SEC wins, 7.1 overall. Florida at 4.0, 7.2. South Carolina at 4.0, 6.6. 6.6 would be a little bit of a disappointment there in Columbia this season.
Oh, it'd be a dramatic disappointment.
But you've got the Clemson on the schedule, so you're going 3-1 in the non-league is their issue.
Right.
Kentucky at 2.8, 5.6. Vanderbilt at 2.6, 4.9, and then the Tennessee Volunteers dead last, 2 SEC wins, 2.0, and 5 wins overall. The Volunteers and the Commodores join the Razorbacks as the only teams not positioned at least at 6.0 for overall wins, bowl eligibility wise.
Yeah, all that's pretty fair. They're a little lower on South Carolina than I am, but they know more than I
That
do.
happened somewhere else the last couple of weeks too. Some other statistics look was kind of down on Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that came from.
I'm generally in agreement with them. Where they have Auburn in state again?
Let's see. They had Auburn
At Alabama at 6.5 SEC wins.
That's correct. Had Auburn at 5.4 SEC wins.
In state.
Basically, they have Auburn losing to Alabama and Georgia, and then a coin flip on them losing another one.
And then what they have with state?
State at 4.6.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 4 and 5.
Good state. Yeah, that's about right.
overall tiers from his SEC power rankings. He has a tier 1 of Alabama, Georgia, and Auburn in that order.
Yeah.
He has a tier 2 of Mississippi State and LSU together. And then in a tier 3, he has a 5-team tier with South Carolina, A&M, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Florida.
Yeah, I talked to someone close to the LSU program over the weekend. Defensively, they're going to be salty. Offensively, they're weird. I was going to tell you, I think Ole Miss LSU is going to be a really fascinating football game in Tiger Stadium into September.
Speaking about the tier that Ole Miss is in, it says, we'll say this tier has a max-out potential of top 15 nationally. Just absolute maxed out, perfect world.
Yeah.
And that's South Carolina, A&M, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Florida.
I can buy that.
So,
I don't think that's outrageous.
Said speaking of South Carolina, he writes, South Carolina gets human cheat code Debo Samuel back, but the 2017 Gamecocks won a few too many games with smoke and mirrors for my taste. I don't entirely trust them yet, and as I wrote in my preview, teams that play much better as underdogs than favorites sometimes struggle to transition to life as a favorite. So that was the.
Well, there's some truth to that. 2009 Ole Miss says hello.
The improvement level is what I find interesting here. Now, look, Ole Miss was going through all sorts of hell last year at this point, and it's just predictions and looking at last year. But talking about those numbers of, versus the average team that I was telling you about, Neil.
Yep.
Last year, Ole Miss was about I don't have an exact number, but I'm looking at a graph. I'm going to say about a 5, meaning slightly better than the average team in college football, something like that. They have them all the way up at like a 12 or a 13 this year. So it's basically they have doubled their points from last year in this predictor as far as being better than the average college football team. And Ole Miss is such a weird set because as I go down and look, they have the offense off the charts over here on the right, the best offense in the SEC potentially. And then the defense is all the way on this other side. So it creates this statistical anomaly where it's very hard to figure out the average of such extremes in both directions. And that's where Ole Miss is stuck from an analytical standpoint right now. So anyway, this graph here, even looking at last year, offense for Ole Miss is all the way at the top, and then defense is all the way on the left. So they're situated in the very, very corner of that graph, pretty much with Missouri. They have Ole Miss and Missouri as very similar football teams from an offense and a defense standpoint. However, they are believing the defense to be slightly better, while the offense not only has the same success rate, but also has a higher percentage of explosive plays as well. SBNation predicting that Ole Miss has the number 1 offense in the SEC, barely edging out Missouri and Georgia are the 2 and 3 there in that category. Defense-wise, Ole Miss, they have them basically in a group with A&M and Arkansas. They're predicting 4 defenses to 3 defenses for sure to be worse than Ole Miss this season in the SEC, and maybe even 4 to 5, depending on who that is. But they are definitely less impressed with Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah. It's a shame for Ole Miss's sake they don't have Kentucky on the schedule this year instead of South Carolina. Yeah. If they had Kentucky,
Tennessee must really suck. I know nothing about the Vols, but
they're going to be very bad. If they had Kentucky or Tennessee on the schedule in Oxford instead of South Carolina, I would be playing with 8 wins. Here's my thing about Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Is in a vacuum, it's easy to go game by game. When I watch them practice, and I'm not a football expert, nor do I claim to be one, but when I watch them practice, I do have questions about the depth in spots. Football's a game where people get hurt.
Yeah, we don't know what this thing's going to look like in Week 7 from an injury standpoint for anyone.
Right. But you can pretty much bet that the 2 teams that line up on opening day in Houston for Ole Miss's sake, and where does South Carolina open the season? Columbia, let's just say for the kicks and giggles.
No, they've got a neutral site game. It's
Charlotte, maybe.
Yeah, I think that is right.
Let's see, I've got it here. South Carolina.
Never mind. They play Coastal at home to open the year.
Okay, so the team that plays in Columbia and the team that plays in Houston, those lineups will not be the same in Week 8 as they are in Week 1 because both teams will suffer injuries. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, I'm
guessing Carolina's deeper than Ole Miss. I have issues with Ole Miss's lack of depth at 2 or 3 spots. I think this is a good team. I don't think it's a great team, but I do question depth. Like if you lose a running back, let's say Scotty Phillips goes down. All of a sudden, you are dependent on Isaiah Woolard and Tyler Knight. That's a lot. That's a lot to be dependent on. The best linebacker in camp has been Devontae Ruggs, who is probably not really ready to play. What if Willie Hibbler goes down? Who's the other linebacker? There's issues with this team. Now they're deeper on the defensive line than I thought they'd be, and they're a little deeper in the secondary than I thought they'd be. They're deeper at tight end than I thought they'd be. They're a little deeper at receiver than I thought they'd be. I asked Phil Longo about, hey, what's your plan with running Tamu? And he had a very educated, intelligent answer that indicated to me that they know that, hey, we got to be careful with that. They're deeper up front than I thought they'd be on the offensive line. This is a good team. If you came down and told me right now, if the football gods dropped in and said, hey, Neil, they're going to win 8 games, I'm not even really all that surprised. I'm a little surprised, but I'm not floored. If you came down and said, hey, they're going to win 9 games, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Or if you came down and told me they're only going to win 4 games, I'd say, whoa, who got hurt? What happened? I'd be a little surprised at 5. I'd be a little surprised at 8. And if you made me pick 6 or 7, I would pick 7.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. 8
I'll
feels
tell you,
like everything. If you told me they won 8, I would say, man, they had a healthy year, huh? And I suspect the football gods would say, you have no idea.
Well, now, look, first-year coaching is always kind of weird in all ways. It's why the more I look at it and their lack of success on defending home field, that A&M game starts at least kind of moving into the middle ground a little bit. Still would favor A&M, but if you told me some crazy stuff happened on College Station, I wouldn't tell you you've lost your mind.
Well, it's late in the season.
It is.
It's Jimbo Fisher's first year, like you said. If you told me that he loses this team in the process of gaining next year's team, I'd buy it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Nick Saban lost his first Alabama team.
Yeah. Let's set a precedent right now.
I mean, ULM 21, Alabama 14 happened. I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
It happened. ULM 21,
Been there,
Alabama.
done that, got the T-shirt.
Yeah, I did, literally. ULM 21, Alabama 14 didn't happen after that. It happened in year 1. And it happened about that same time of the season, mid-November. Kids are sick of this. This is not what I signed up for. The kids who signed with Kevin Sumlin did not sign up for Jimbo Fisher. And there's going to be some, we'll see. Now, I've also seen first-year coaches go wild and win a bunch of games. We've seen that. Houston Nutt comes to mind. Hugh Freeze comes to mind.
For whatever reason, I don't know the answer to this. That does not seem to be the case in football as much as other sports where a coach just changes an environment and suddenly they're twice as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more of a basketball or a baseball thing typically from a chemistry standpoint.
But you've seen it happen in football. Yeah. So the point is, an A&M team's a wild card. Like if you're going to,
my problem with A&M doing what you talk about with Nutt is, number one, Nutt was fantastic that first year. He really was. I know everybody says, well, they lost the weight, but that team had to learn how to win.
Well, he replaced
Orgeron is not someone and Orgeron are not the same dude.
Nutt replaced an abusive coach.
Literally, yeah.
And Nutt came in and was friendly, happy. Hey, if you guys will just play hard and try hard, I'm going to love on you.
Yeah.
If you'll play hard and try hard, I'm going to give you some catfish and some watermelon after. And that's literally what they did. It's not a stereotype. We're going to have watermelon day out of the blue.
Yeah. They had a lot of watermelon days.
I mean, we're going to treat you like humans as long as you'll just give us an honest day's work.
Yeah. Houston was big on Taylor Grocer coming in after games and giving some meals and different stuff.
On Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon.
Games. Yeah.
And so, that team was not used to being treated like human beings. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, hey, you know what? We're going to take the pads off today. Like, I want a good day's work, but we're going to take the pads off. We're not going to hit. Not going to go as long. Not going to run you afterwards.
Well, that was the key. The key was we're going to do what I said we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's going to take you a little while to trust me, but when I say we're going to finish at 5, we're finishing at 5. If I say I'm giving you 18 periods, you're getting 18 periods today.
Houston Nutt's a good football coach. He just wasn't a good recruiter at Ole Miss, and that's where it went to hell.
He never thought Ole Miss could win big.
He didn't think Ole Miss could win.
He thought there was a ceiling, and he was trying to ride that ceiling is what was happening. So,
but that first year when he came in, he told those kids, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go an hour and 40 minutes. Give me a good hour and 40 minutes. We're going to get out of here. And then lo and behold, they got to an hour and 40 minutes, and they're done.
Yeah.
And kids are looking around at each other like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I take another step, is there going to be a cobra right there? I mean, what's the deal? And then after a while, because they didn't trust him for a while.
No.
And then after a while, it was, oh, wow. Because I can remember about November of that year, like getting ready to play ULM, and he knew he had a tired team. I'm giving Houston Nutt credit, y'all, if anybody reaches out to him. They hardly worked that week.
Mm-hmm.
They were tired. They'd gone to LSU and won a big game. They were drained. And he knew there was no point in doing this macho BS about, oh, hey, ULM, boy, you got to be careful. No. We're going to roll the ball and roll the helmet out that day. We'll get it done. And they smoked ULM on a week where I think their Tuesday practice, if I recall, went about an hour and 20 minutes.
Just enough to say they did it.
Well, just to, hey, here's what they do.
Yeah. Here's some base stuff. Move on with their day.
Yeah. Go get rest.
Yeah.
And then they turned it around and got up ready for state and all that stuff. But kids trusted him. So I don't know that Jimbo's going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be work. It's going to be a different deal. It's going to be a little more Saban-ish, and there's a better chance that
you could lose the first team.
Yeah. So if you told me that was the 8th win, I'm not surprised.
Trip to A&M in 18 is going to be different than a trip to A&M in 20.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 more seasons.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll continue a little bit of prediction stuff, look at it from a gambling perspective in a second. Rivals.com on the story. Get to that in a minute. First, to take the podcast is brought to you by Oxford Wine and Spirits, quickly becoming one of Oxford's most popular places to buy wine and spirits. Conveniently located close to campus on College Hill next to Lost Pizza. Neil and I shop there regularly. And a podcast listener goes into the store to stock up for the weekend. You can get additional 5% off wine and 10% off liquor if you spend $150 or more and say you heard about it on the podcast. So when you get to town, stock up with Oxford Wine and Spirits. Also, starting tomorrow afternoon, they will have the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur that Jay Tate has been very fond of for a while. It's very good. So go in, ask them about it. Starting Tuesday afternoon, they're next to Lost Pizza with the Chicory Liqueur.
Podcast brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's also the sponsor of my 10 Weekend Thoughts, which have been up on the site since sometime yesterday afternoon. Go on, check those out. It's at rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals Network. It's been an active 24 hours or so on rebelgrove.com. So check it out, and then check out Harry. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through about what you're looking for. Send him an email. He'll take care of the rest. It's ha@harryalexander.com. We've been telling you about Robert Gambrell and Gambrell and Associates for a while. Robert knows that many of the people listening to this podcast will never need a bankruptcy attorney or a Social Security disability attorney. However, many of you may be interested in reviewing your financial situation to consider asset protection. This is a part of what a good bankruptcy attorney does. Many of you have friends, relatives that get into difficult financial situations. Gambrell and Associates helps many people work through their times of hardship, whether that results in filing a bankruptcy petition or working to avoid a bankruptcy filing. Others are worried about the credit score. For those people, many times they refer their clients to Brian McLaurin, another advertiser on this podcast. Sometimes people find the fastest way to rebuild credit is similar to what the Astros did. It's tear it down, start over, and this can be done by filing for relief under Chapter 7 to get a fresh start. Whatever your needs are, you, your friends, relatives can get a free consultation for 1 hour or more to help make your decision on what is best for you. avvo.com, superlawyers.com, or call Robert Gambrell at 662-281-8800. Youth basketball registration in the Oxford Park Commission is right around the corner. It starts September the 4th. So sign up your son or daughter for one of their leagues. The age range is 5 to 15. The cost is $50. Last year, OPC had more than 600 kids take part in the leagues. Numbers are expected to be similar this year, so don't miss your opportunity when it comes time to sign up for OPC Youth Basketball. It's OxfordParkCommission.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Tyson Drugs, TysonDrugs.com, or they have a great app as well, and located there in Holly Springs. Give them a call, 662-252-2321. They have forms you can fill out to get the prescriptions getting done quickly. They're also now in Oxford as well with G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar, and they deliver local in the Oxford area. So look at rivals a little bit here. They've got a over-under win totals from Vegas on every SEC team. Getting close enough to go through these. Let's see. We'll start here. I think Rob Cassidy might have done this. He did. Alabama, the overall win total from Vegas for Alabama is 10.5, Neil. 10.5 regular season wins for the Crimson Tide.
I'm over.
Until they don't go over, you're over. Is that the way it works?
Been about a decade now of consistency there.
Yeah, I mean,
what's
weird about the Alabama situation now is it's hard to find the second maybe even. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Auburn beats them, sure, whatever.
Right.
But then it's like,
who else?
Yeah, having a hard time there. So
I mean, when Barrett Sallee, who's as good as there is, says, yeah, man, their second loss is Ole Miss. Okay, so Ole Miss is the second loss. I think most of us would agree that the odds are certainly in Alabama's favor that day. So who else is beating them?
Now, Vegas has it at minus 220, meaning you have to put up twice as much to bet the over as you do to bet the under.
Yeah.
But
in other words, Vegas thinks they're over too.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And as Rob points out here, Alabama hasn't lost 2 regular season games since 2010.
That's what I'm saying.
So they haven't gone under 10.5 since 2010.
It's virtually a decade of dominance.
As Rob says, don't overthink peace of mind. It's worth minus 220. So,
yeah,
Alabama over. Arkansas, the win total is 6, and it's pretty much even odds there to go over or under 6 for the Razorbacks.
Let's see something, because I don't know what their league schedule is. Arkansas, Eastern Illinois, the wins. That's 1. Colorado State in Fort Collins.
Yeah, iffy.
North Texas in Fayetteville. That's 2.
Is that Mike Bobo? But he's sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Auburn. So 2 in a toss. Auburn's a loss. A&M in Arlington, probably a loss. Alabama, a loss. If you're looking at this from an Arkansas perspective, Ole Miss is a toss. So 2 and 2 tosses. We get them to 3 there. Tulsa's probably a win. That's 4. They get Vanderbilt at home. That's 5.
Can they find 6?
LSU's at home. At Mississippi State.
That's a loss.
And at Missouri. So I go
That's
under.
a loss.
I go under.
Rob does as well. He says under 6 for the Razorbacks this season. Does not expect Arkansas to be bowl eligible. Interesting over-under here is that, there's a lot of momentum for them being the second best team in the West for sure, third best team overall. The Auburn over-under, 8.5.
Well, they're scheduled brutal.
8.5.
So here's,
and it's minus 150. So the way to understand that is 1.5 to 1 to bet the over for the Tigers.
I'm officially getting old. I'm having to pull out.
You're having to put the spectacles on, aren't you? Yeah.
Auburn, Washington at home. A lot of people are very high.
I like Washington
on Washington. It's actually in Atlanta, not at home.
It's gonna be a fun game. What time's that game? You got a time on that thing? Okay.
I think it's a night game.
Doesn't matter.
Alabama State at home. It's a win. It's 1. LSU at home. I think that's a win. That's 2.
Yeah.
Arkansas at home. That's a win. That's 3. Southern Miss at home. That's 4.
Yep.
At Mississippi State's a toss. Tennessee at home.
That's a win.
A win. At Ole Miss, I think it's probably a win. But it's conceivable.
Can you find 4 losses is more the question.
A&M at home's a win. Georgia's there. It's probably a loss. Liberty is at home. That's a win, obviously.
All right.
And at Alabama.
They've got to lose to Alabama, Georgia, Washington, and 1 more is the way you get them under 8.
Yeah, and I like the over on them.
It feels 9-3-ish there.
Yeah,
because,
it does.
frankly, I think they probably end up beating Washington in a close game. And if they beat Washington, you feel really good about the over 8.5 there for Auburn. Florida Gators, 7.5 is the number for the Florida Gators this year.
Okay, let's play the game.
And you find 5 losses. Let's go losses because it's a little quicker.
Mississippi State and Starkville.
It's going to be a very tough game for Florida.
LSU in Gainesville's losable.
It is.
Georgia and Jacksonville, losable.
Yep.
Missouri in Gainesville, losable.
It is.
South Carolina in Gainesville, losable.
It's losable.
Florida State and Tallahassee's losable. Yet I kind of don't like the under there. All of their tosses are in the swamp.
And they're kind of tosses. They're not automatics. There's very few automatics on that schedule.
And he's a weird first-year coach because he's not the Jimbo Fisher crazy, and he's not the Houston Nut, we're going to love you up either.
He's going to stay pretty even keel with those guys.
Yeah. So
it feels over, doesn't it? It feels kind of 8-4-ish.
A little over.
Yeah, it feels kind of Cassidy picked the under. Said it's a very difficult call, but the under is plus 155, so he's just taking the value there on a toss-up because he gets 1.5 to 1 odds on the Gators. Georgia, the win total 10.5 for the Georgia Bulldogs.
All right, losable games: South Carolina and Columbia, Missouri and Columbia. I guess LSU and Baton Rouge, Auburn. That's it. 10's the number?
10.5.
Probably going under.
He goes under. He says he hit on the over with them last year, but he is circling week 2. It's at least a scary time for Georgia because it's so early in the season. They go to Columbia week 2.
I agree.
Yeah, that could be a weird day for Georgia.
Yeah.
A lot of defense to replace. Now, offensively, they should be very, very, very good. But they lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball.
That place will be rocking that day for Carolina.
Ooh.
They'll be 1-0, probably healthy.
Yeah. Boom will have them geeked up.
Boom will have them ready to play.
Yeah.
It'll be hot, crazy.
Kentucky, the win total, 5.5.
Okay.
So can Kentucky break even is the question this season.
Here's their schedule. You give me your.
They also finished 2-5 to finish the year last year.
Here's their schedule. You just give me your quick initial thought. Don't even think about it.
All right.
Just tell me win-loss.
Yep.
Central Michigan at home.
Win.
Florida there.
Loss.
Murray State at home.
Win.
Mississippi State at home.
Loss.
So 2-2. South Carolina at home.
Loss.
At Texas A&M.
Loss.
You got them 2-4. Vanderbilt at home.
Win.
At Missouri.
Loss.
3-5. Georgia at home.
Loss.
Tennessee at home.
Win.
Let me say, actually in Knoxville.
Win.
Okay. Middle Tennessee at home.
Win.
At Louisville.
Loss.
So you got them 5-7.
But that Louisville game could go either way.
It's almost like Vegas knows what it's doing.
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean, I could have done that. I mean, okay, let's look at Kentucky. Well, 5-7, 7-5. Hey, let's make it 6. Let's go.
I don't think they get to 7.
Benny Snell is really good. He is. He's legitimately good. I hadn't picked him as my guy yet. No, we're early. We'll have that podcast later.
Have we moved on?
Well, I got to move on.
Well,
Rob Webb doesn't play.
Sometimes you don't
take a year off, don't you?
Sometimes you don't move on.
It might be that year where you just take all the pictures down in the house and you.
I mean, sometimes you lose the girl.
Swear off.
Sometimes you lose the girl and you just do the whole.
Rob picks the under and actually has them saying they could lose to Central Michigan as well.
Sometimes you lose the girl and you go to ULM and you just kind of you have a wild year and a half of your life.
It's just like a lot of running backs this year.
Yeah, you just go out and recruit a whole bunch of 2-stars and just let the chips fall where they may.
About halfway through the year, one of them will emerge.
Well, either that or you get hurt.
That's a good point. LSU, the win total, 6.5 for the Tigers.
It's a fascinating schedule. We've done this a million times.
Yeah,
Tell me what they do against.
The middle of that schedule is so screwy.
Tell me what they do against Miami in 12 days.
They're losing.
Well, then they're not getting to 6.
Not for it's 6.5.
I said they're not getting to 6.
Okay.
Here's why, Chase.
Yes.
If you go 0-1 against Miami, Southeast Louisiana's a win. At Auburn's a loss. Louisiana Tech's a win, but I'm telling you, it's a weird game. Ole Miss at home, everyone's going win, and I'm sitting here going, oh, no, man, that's a toss. See, I think Tech's close to a toss.
You have a weird feeling about that.
No, I grew up in Ruston, and I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that Louisiana Tech will be absolutely locked the hell in at Tiger Stadium. Because if you offered Louisiana Tech fans right now 1-11 and said the 1 is LSU, done. Done. No questions asked.
They'll give the year away for that
They'll
one.
give the year away for that moment of glory in that stadium. Because those pictures of that scoreboard will adorn the media guide for the next 5 years.
If you bet the under on OSU, you get 1.6 to 1 odds.
So after Ole Miss, it gets weird. At Florida, Georgia at home, Mississippi State at home.
Loss.
I think both of those teams are better. A week off, Alabama at home.
Because a week off there is bad.
Yeah.
You're coming off crap, and then all of a sudden you get that week off, and Alabama on the other side of it.
And then after Alabama, they have to go to Arkansas, which screams let down. It does. It's in Fayetteville. It screams let down, and Chad Morris probably won't lose his team in year one.
He's going to love on them.
Then they get Rice, and then they have to go to Texas A&M. Dude, there's losses all over that puppy.
That's under. And I think it opened at 7.5. I think you actually could have gotten a 7-5 under.
I would have jumped all over that.
Yeah. Mississippi State, pretty much even odds either way, but the total is 8.5 for the Bulldogs.
It's a little high, but I can see it.
Okay, Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go there. They play Kentucky and out of the East. Who's their other East team?
they get Stephen F. Austin, Kansas State, Lafayette, Kentucky.
Where's the Kansas State game?
Manhattan.
Could lose.
Could.
Could lose.
Probably won't.
Could.
Could.
Bill Snyder can sneak up and bite you.
He can. Getting old, but he could. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4 wins right away. I think they beat Florida at home. That's 5. They get Auburn at home, but I think they lose.
They lose.
They get LSU there, and I think they win. They get A&M at home, and I think they win.
Schedule suddenly.
They get Louisiana Tech at home, and obviously they win. They go at Alabama, that's a loss. They get Arkansas at home, and they go to Ole Miss. The Ole Miss game they could be 9-2 heading into Oxford because their schedule's bad.
Mm-hmm. That's a good schedule for an SEC program. That's as good as you can get right there.
It absolutely lays out perfectly, and they're going to beat Florida at home because they're going to be so damn geeked up for that.
Yeah, that just feels like a win.
It feels like a 21-point win.
Missouri, pretty much even odds. 7.5 for the Missouri Tigers. Gabe DeArmond said he saw him getting to 7 or 8, so that would be about right when we talked to him the other day.
Let's just play it real quick. UT Martin, Wyoming, Purdue, the first 3 games of the season. That's 3-0. They'll lose to Georgia, get a week off. They get at Carolina, that's a loss. At Alabama, that's a loss. So 3-3. They get Memphis at home. That's a swing game for them. But let's give it to them.
Can I have the over in that game, please, right now?
Yes. Then they get Kentucky at home. That's 5. The next swing game's at Florida. Then they get Vanderbilt at home, at Tennessee, Arkansas at home. See, I get them to 8 pretty easy.
Okay, that's all you got to do.
With a really good quarterback.
They do have a good quarterback. Let's see. Ole Miss, 6 is the number. We've been over it.
Over. Rob
also betting the over on the Rebels. He says, I'll just read it here. Let's see. Where's it at? I like the over as Luke seems to have the full support of his players and the Rebels' weird new shark mascot and all have plenty of talent on the roster. There are plenty of worse bets to take at plus 125. The defense might be a bit suspect, but that can be said about a number of teams. I actually like the value here even more since I started writing this paragraph 3 minutes ago. So Rob taking the over with Ole Miss. South Carolina, we've been over this a pretty good bit. 7.5 is the number for the Gamecocks at pretty much even odds.
Yeah, I like the over.
Tell you what I like about South Carolina.
Especially if we're giving them Georgia.
Well, I'm not giving them Georgia. That's probably a little strong for sure. But even with a loss at Georgia, the way their schedule works out, it's Coastal at home, then Georgia at home. But then Marshall, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky in a row to build plenty of momentum. When you stay at home for 2 more against A&M and Tennessee in a row before Ole Miss. I mean, they only leave Columbia, South Carolina twice in the first 7 games of the schedule, and it's to go to Lexington and Nashville.
That's what I mean. I love their schedule. I've said this all along.
I'm sorry, 8 games. And then they finish with at Ole Miss, at Florida, and then Clemson to close the year.
I just like their schedule.
It's a great home schedule.
Yeah, and they get momentum.
The middle of the schedule's soft.
Get a chance to have some momentum.
You told me they beat Missouri. That's a lock.
Yeah.
That's the game that kind of scares me a little bit with them.
And then if they win one of the Ole Miss Florida swing, they're in great shape.
A&M 7.5 is the number there. Pretty much even odds.
Yeah.
7-5 wouldn't shock me in the slightest with A&M.
No.
Tennessee 5.5 is the number for the Vols. 5.5, a number for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Well,
Vegas does not think they are back.
The program was built brick by brick.
And they have a coach that we all think could be the next Ed Orgeron.
Yes.
If you said we got Ed Orgeron or Kirby Smart with Jeremy Pruitt, I know which direction I'm headed.
Not even close.
Rob picks the under with Tennessee.
It's Vanderbilt, by the way.
We ain't got there yet.
Okay.
Vanderbilt's next. They're the final team. 4.
In so many ways.
4.
See if I can find 4 wins on this.
You know, and Kyle Shermer is actually sort of okay. It's not terrible. All right.
I mean, I'm looking for wins, okay? I guess Middle Tennessee could be a win. Nevada could be a win. Tennessee State's a win. I guess they could win at Kentucky. Kind of doubt it. And I guess they could beat Tennessee at home.
Their defense last year was abysmal. Terrible.
I guess they could win at Fayetteville. I doubt it, though.
Having a hard time finding 4.
Yeah. I mean,
all jokes aside, they lost their best player. Their defense was terrible.
And they could lose to Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee's going to do the Louisiana Tech thing on Vandy. They're going to be ready for that game.
Dude.
I'm just telling y'all, you're out there listening, you want some money, when that line comes out and it's LSU minus 29.5, Louisiana Tech's going to be geeked up for that game. LSU might win, but they're going to have to take that first punch, and it's coming. And Tech's decent.
Yeah, they're okay.
Decent. They're not good, but they're decent.
Yeah, they can hang around a little bit.
And if your quarterback play sucks, and LSU's does, it lets teams stay in games.
Yeah, new running back, I'm sure we'll be fine. But
there's no Drew Lock out there lighting you up and making big plays and just kind of sending a message that, hey, you know this isn't going to happen, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. It's not.
Yeah.
So, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Settle County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting. Understands your market. A leader in condo financing and the float down option. So you can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLowe, J-L-O-W-E at communitymtg.com.
The podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about it on the podcast. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. Speaking of the Rebels, Rebel Nation 2018 is the year of the fan. Ole Miss Athletics wants to showcase your stories and recognize you, the Ole Miss fan base. Exciting prizes and experiences throughout the year will be featured on omyearofthefan.com and updated often. So be sure to visit omyearofthefan.com. The podcast is also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB is locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. They also give you Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Podcast also brought to you by Stacy Berry. If you're in the Memphis market looking for a home, Keller Williams agent Stacy Berry, the name to call, whether it's downtown, midtown, Germantown, or Collierville. Born and raised in the Bluff City, she knows the dynamic and unique intricacies that the city has to offer. And she wants to put you in the 901 today. So if you're a first-time home buyer looking to downsize, she'll evaluate and determine your current home value and sell it quickly for top dollar. So sell a home, buy a home, or invest in real estate. Call the Berry Home Team today and let Stacy unlock Memphis for you. 901-481-6420. Stacy Lane Berry at kw.com or theberryhometeam.com. That's Stacy with an E, the name to know in Memphis. By the way, we glossed over a minute ago when they were playing someone, Jack Abraham, the starting quarterback for Southern Miss this year. Now
Saw that.
Yeah, good for him.
Good kid.
Yeah.
Kind of had a long road, a lot of opportunities to say, screw it.
Good decision to go JUCO, step back, make a call. So
it's worked out. Good for him.
Did you catch any highlights of anything of Chad the other day?
Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah. He looked great. As I posted on the message board, someone said, he's better than Case Keenum right now. I'm not ready to do that. Case Keenum knows how to operate an NFL season. But if you told me that Chad Kelly is Denver's quarterback next year, or maybe even Denver's quarterback in Week 11, I'm in.
We talked about this with Kyle Frederickson a good bit the other day. They are in a weird spot because Kelly looks like a guy so far against 2s and 3s that can operate an offense at that level with efficiency and proficiency. But it's still a very small sample size, and they've pretty much got to decide right now, is he our guy when Case Keenum sprains an ankle or tears a knee up? And because you can't, like we said, he's not going to clear waivers. You're not going to be able to practice squad him. So you're having to make a decision here in the next couple weeks on, is this dude an NFL starting quarterback in the future? Because you need to sign someone if he's not, and if he is, you can't let him go and run the risk of that black mark on your franchise moving forward when he's again, hypotheticals, but he's replacing Drew Brees in 2 seasons or something down there.
I don't think that's outrageous. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, look, if you're Denver and you're going into Week 1, Keenum's your guy.
Yeah.
Keenum has shown he can manage an NFL offense. He can manage a game. Chad Kelly's not played in a game in a while. Chad Kelly still has rust. But, man, you have to like what you've seen. And if I'm them, I'm not going and doing this Bridgewater thing.
I just keep Keenum and Kelly. I cut Lynch because at this point it's over. It is what it is.
Yeah, and
if you get something great, but whatever.
Let's get a 6th, 7th round pick.
Sure.
And I might go get an older veteran who could come in where in the worst case, if you're Denver, worst case is Week 1 or 2, Case Keenum blows his knee
But see,
out.
you're not keeping 3 quarterbacks, and I can't let Kelly go, so I've got to just keep Kelly as the backup.
Well, no, you didn't. What I'm saying is I get somebody just to be in the building. Maybe run a practice squad just to kind of be around in case.
See, I think you just let Kelly finish the game, and then if you feel like you need to sign somebody after Keenum gets hurt the next week, then go get somebody.
Yeah, go get somebody on that Monday and get them to come in. And
I'm sure there's some McCown or somebody that can run some stuff for a week or 2.
Sure.
So just do it that way. Keep Kelly on the roster as the backup, and if you freak out because Case Keenum has torn every bone in his leg up, then okay, move on. Kind of hits both sides at one time, if you will.
As it stands, let's say that Case Keenum is their quarterback and they have a 6-10 season. Somewhere around Week 11 or Week 12, you know what? Let's see what we got.
Here's the ball, Chad.
And look, if Case Keenum goes 12-4, 11-5, hey, good for you. You still keep the future, and he gets to learn. Because I'm telling Chad Kelly, because the one thing that's out there is Case Keenum the most physically gifted quarterback in the NFL? No, of course not. Is Case Keenum, is he known for his work ethic and his professionalism? He is. I'm telling Chad Kelly, you need to sponge from him. Because a lot of the stuff that he can't do, you can. And a lot of the stuff that we want you to do to become a well-rounded, polished star quarterback, you can learn from him, learn it. So when Case Keenum is in there at 6 o'clock in the morning watching film, you need to be the guy that's bringing him his coffee and sitting there next to him. What'd you see there? When Case Keenum's putting in his work, you need
be the sounding board. Hey, run that off me. What's the decision? What are you doing? What's the read?
Take me through that.
Yeah.
Watch his work ethic.
Yes, because from a professional standpoint, Case Keenum every bit an NFL quarterback.
Oh, he's a consummate pro, according to people who know him.
Yeah. And he's good enough physically. Won a playoff game last year.
He was good with Minnesota last year.
Number 2 QBR in the league last year.
He was good with Minnesota. People go, well, it was a flash in the pan. It might have been, but it was one hell of a flash.
Yeah. I would have liked one more air throw or two. So, yeah, I mean, there's...
Well, I mean, he was damn good in that game. That was an NFL playoff game against a really good team.
It was.
I mean, I know it hurts you to talk about, but it was. He was a really good player.
He didn't lose the game. I mean, they won the game, but you know what I mean. Had they lost the game, it wouldn't have been his fault.
And they didn't lose in Philly because he was bad. They lost in Philly because Philly was lights out.
Stay on the NFL train for a minute. Work in progress, preseason, using it as a testing ground. These calls, dude.
Oh, did you see the one the other night? I think it was the Cardinals.
The worst one I saw was the Vikings defender.
That's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
That he led with his shoulder and
he kept head up, form tackled him, and did not drive him. He slipped off at the end and then stood up as the quarterback went to the ground.
That flag got called, and I watched it over and over and over. And because I tell you what, it was last night I couldn't sleep. I slept about an hour, and I watched that play, Chase. No kidding, for an hour looking for the penalty.
There was another one a couple days before that where a fullback has the ball out in open space. A corner is standing there waiting on him and literally just wraps him up and falls over and gets trucked, and they throw a personal foul on the corner when he gets run over.
What is the rule? See, Mike Detillier and I talked about this when I was filling in Memphis, and I got him on the show, and I need to get Mike on again. We'll work on that this week to talk about this rule. What is the rule? I don't even – to finish what I was saying a minute ago, I know I'm being flighty today. Forgive me. I still couldn't figure it out. What precisely was called? He led with this. It was a form tackle.
All right, the two new rules are you can't lead with your helmet in any way. Even face up, though, is the problem. Literally no helmet leading whatsoever. But what they're screwing up here is they keep making these rules in boxes, not realizing that we have elite athletes that are in the middle of the speed of the game that can't adjust at the last second with just microscopic changes to make sure you don't do something with. Last time I checked, my head is on top. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's very hard moving at someone to keep my head out of the way.
So if you're a running back, what you're kind of being taught to do is, hey, once he commits, just shift a little so that his head goes first.
Get some head to hit, basically bounce your shoulder off his head if you can. Wait, it's the new dumber equivalent of when a cornerback or a safety goes at a wide receiver and dives at him, and then the wide receiver ducks, and suddenly he's hit his head when he aimed at his chest, and then the wide receiver manipulated his body to get hit in the head after the guy had committed to make the tackle. And then the other one, which this was their loose interpretation for that dumb thing we just talked about. The other rule is a new stipulation that falls under roughing the passer in which you can't stuff the quarterback or land with your body weight on top of him. But there's a difference in landing on top of him and driving him into the ground is the problem we have here. So they argued the other day on that penalty that he landed on top of him. We're tackling. You're going to land on top of someone. Definition.
As a rule. Well, when you think about it, I know you didn't play a lot of football in high school, but
I did not.
I played defense, and we did those tackle drills. You always landed on top of the damn dummy when you tackled it, and then you rolled off.
Yeah, you rolled the dummy over. I've done those drills.
Yeah. You drove the dummy into the ground, then you rolled off. That's the way you were taught. I don't know how you get guys. I do believe that the Monday, I guess that'll be September the 9th.
8th. No, 9th. You're right. Yeah.
No,
9th.
Sunday's the 9th. Monday, September the 10th, I think this is going to be the topic of conversation nationally.
Okay, so here's the question.
Calls.
Is this really what's going to be called, or are we using this as a, hey, look at it, let's be more conservative now, and let's figure it out in the next 3 weeks while we're doing preseason
Well, that's
games?
what Mike Detillier says, and I take his word for it. But if he's wrong, and he said, hey, maybe he's wrong, if he's wrong and this is happening in all these games that count, not preseason games.
This will kill football faster than injuries.
Agreed.
No doubt.
Agreed.
You change the play to this extent. Because, again, it's not high school. It's not dudes like me running to tackle each other where you have so much time and it's so slow. This is an impossibility.
Yeah, this isn't Hatley Amory.
Yeah, this is dumb. I mean, I don't know.
If you're a defensive player, it has to be very confusing.
There's nothing you can do. You've got to wrap someone up and throw them down.
Yeah, but you have to wrap them up, catching them from the side.
Yeah, good luck with NFL. Todd Gurley running at you. Hey, just
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, when he runs by, just grab him and pull him down real quick if you can.
Grab those big thighs from the side and try to bring those down. Good luck. Let me know how that works out. It's going to look like people like me trying to make tackles.
Well, and they'll go, well, hit them low. Well, I mean, there's been a lot of
if you go low, you're going to lead with your face.
Well, and you could be hurt just as badly as the running back. You don't think Todd Gurley had never given somebody concussion by hitting him in the head with his thigh when he's running by?
I suspect it happens weekly.
Pop. And your head gets knocked back, you get whiplash, and there you go. He's a big dude.
He's large.
And he's fast. He's moving quite quickly when he's coming at you.
And he arrives in a bad mood.
He arrives in a bad mood. Him and Enrique Davis. No, it was Patrick Trahan.
Yeah.
Trahan arrives in a bad mood. Yeah. I don't remember what Enrique did, but
Enrique was just fast. Until he wasn't fast. That game when Alabama caught him on the breakaway, we kept saying, he's not so fast.
Your boy lasted just one inning in a rehab start?
It's over.
What's he making the rest of the way?
He is in year one of a 6-year, $126 million contract.
Well, that's not good.
He's won a lot less than Jake Arrieta has won this year.
That's a black mark on Theo.
It is. Theo had a bad offseason with starting pitchers. Tyler Chatwood and Yu Darvish. Total disasters. I don't think they're going to win. I've said that all along. I don't think they can win a postseason series. I don't think it matters.
In the Cardinals?
A postseason series?
Yeah. Because if you say no, you're knocking a lot of teams out immediately where all of a sudden you're talking.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals could win a postseason series.
I mean, all of a sudden you're talking Braves, Phillies, and the NL West.
Well, I certainly like the West teams a lot.
Yeah.
I like Colorado. I like the Dodgers. Hell, I like the Diamondbacks. I like Philly in a short series because who they pitch. You throw Aaron Nola, you throw Jake Arrieta. I still think Atlanta's a year away. I love their team. I love what they're doing.
Fine.
Oh, my God. The future's so bright. I'm not convinced that this
is a great experience, though. Get in that chase. Get in that race.
Oh, absolutely.
Get into a playoff.
This season's a success for the Braves.
Yeah, right now. No matter what.
No matter what. An absolute success. If you're a Braves fan, this is exciting, and you should be counting down days to opening day 2019 because I'm telling you, everything's looking good. This is free. Great experience for the kids. Camargo and Acuna and all those cats. Really good team.
Had a rough weekend in Colorado or against Colorado.
You know, the Rockies are good.
Yeah. You let the one slip away, and then
The Rockies are good, and they've played some of these meaningful games. They're good. The West is good. I don't know. If you told me that one of the Central teams won a postseason series, I think I'd say the Cardinals. But, man, I don't like any of those three teams much. The Cardinals, they're really dependent on Carpenter.
So what's your NLCS at this point?
Phillies, Dodgers?
Okay. Fair enough.
I still think the Dodgers win. If you told me it was Dodgers Rockies, I'd buy that too.
Look at some early hot seat talk in a second. First, tell you the podcast brought to you in part by Locker Stockers. Let them handle the purchase and delivery to your locker and suite before game day. They'll do it for Vaught Hemingway, the Pavilion, and Swayze Field when the time comes. So you need to lock in your preseason prices now with Locker Stockers. 662-586-1487 or info@lockerstockers.com.
It's also getting closer and closer and closer to the first home game of the season for Ole Miss, September the 8th against the mighty Salukis of Southern Illinois. If you haven't gotten your tailgating all set up, you still have time. There's a post on the message board that gives you some details. 7 South Tailgating is celebrating 10 years of business this season. It's the place to go. If you tailgate with them once, you'll never tailgate without them again. They can set up your personal gear, or you can rent everything from them. No one matches their customer service, their attention to detail. Whether you're coming up for one game, all the games, just a few of the games, whatever it may be, whether your tailgate is really intricate or super simple, 7 South Tailgating has a package just for you. 7southtailgating.com. Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate is the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit our website, meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANM Phillips.com. Or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. Guests will join us throughout the week on the Billy's Pecans hotline. It's not too late to get your orders in for Billy's Pecans. Maybe you're heading to Houston next weekend. You got a road trip in front of you. Be some perfect snacks. And then, of course, when you're setting up in the Grove, these would be perfect as well. All the pecans, we tell you about them all the time. The cinnamon spice pecans, the toasted pecans, the milk chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate Grand Marnier, and more. The cheese Krispies, coffee cakes. It's all there at Billy's Pecans. Let Stacy and Billy take care of you. You'll be glad you did. The product is just fantastic. The service might actually be even better if that's possible. BillysPecans.com, BILLIES Pecans.com, 1-800-624-7404.
Kids are back in school, so the town has been turned over now for the next few months to avoid roundabouts, avoid one-way streets for the next week or two. They will not be handled properly by the new inhabitants of the area.
No, they will not.
You know, it used to be, and now look, I'm not the best driver in the world, but the merging on or off highways used to be my least favorite screw up that would be made every single day, where they just stop on the off ramp or whatever. You have a bad case of it out on your road headed to 7 right there where they stop. But stopping in the middle of the roundabout now might be my favorite, where they freak out and think someone's going to hit them, so they just slam on the brakes and stop right in the middle of the roundabout as they're making the turn. That's become the new version of the highway move. But anyway, students are back, so congratulations, good luck to everybody, and we'll see you on.
It's a student because they're driving and one eye's kind of on the road and 1.5 eyes are completely on the cell phone right in front of them on the.
It's your new mission right here. It's your thing.
Watch.
Yeah.
You can't be looking at a cell phone and drive at the same time. It's really not possible.
They do it every day.
I don't know how.
Hot seat rankings on ESPN.com this morning. Noticing these. A little bit of Ole Miss flavor as far as a schedule here. David Beatty at Kansas leads it off. That's not surprising at all, considering he is 3-33 overall at Kansas. He is 1-26 in Big 12 play with the Gamecocks, and he has a new AD, Jeff Long.
Jayhawks.
Yeah, Jayhawks. What'd I say?
Gamecocks.
Whatever. Same difference.
It's a bird.
Jeff Long, the new AD there at Kansas.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long Beatty hangs around. Not long, I'm assuming.
I would guess it's over. The curious thing will be, does Jeff Long hire Brett Bielema again? They're tight.
Would he be a fit at Kansas?
Is anyone?
It's a good point. It's like Kentucky, but much worse.
See, like people say Hugh Freeze. I don't think Jeff Long hires Hugh Freeze.
Basketball is always going to be the butter on your bread. You're just looking for a football program to sort of be kind of competitive and stay out of trouble.
Think Kentucky West.
Yeah, let me get to a bowl occasionally, and you can be here for life. Just chill, don't get in trouble, and let's move on with our day.
Oh, yeah. Whatever bowl game the 6-6 Big 12 team goes to, Kansas would be happy.
Done.
Sure.
They would make the yearly pilgrimage to Birmingham or whatever their equivalent is.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They went to an Orange Bowl a few years ago.
I know.
Kansas. But Wake Forest. Kansas, Wake Forest, Orange Bowl.
Yeah, you know
baby.
the people at the Orange Bowl are like, oh, my God.
We had Nebraska, Miami at one point.
You know how you've been selling all that cocaine and we hadn't gotten caught? Well, we're paying for it.
Yeah. All right, number 2 on the list, Cliff Kingsbury, Texas Tech. Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt remains a big supporter of Kingsbury, a Rebel Raiders. Good God. Red Raiders hero, is a player and an ideal fit for the school. But after a late-season surge helped secure a 6th season at the helm, Kingsbury must show tangible progress in a very competitive Big 12. Defense remains the unit to watch, a factor favoring Kingsbury. Most candidates for this job have similar profiles to his.
He got a big game coming up in 12 days. Cliff does.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. They're picked 8th in the Big 12, which has 9, 10 teams. 10 teams?
Yeah, I can't keep up.
Is there 9 or 10 in the Big 12?
Is it 9?
I think it's 9. Come on, guys. Just find 3 more teams. I don't care who they are. Ed Orgeron, number 3 on this list, the LSU head coach.
We're talking about big games.
LSU has fallen behind Alabama in recent years. Auburn won the SEC West in 2017 and returns on their strong team. A&M just hired Jimbo Fisher. Orgeron has been great as an interim coach at LSU. I don't know about that.
He was good as
And
an
USC,
interim.
but still fights his failings at Ole Miss, as well as the choppy performances LSU had last fall. The school would owe him $8.5 million to make a change this season.
And before anybody goes, that's chump change. That is not chump change in Louisiana.
It's not monopoly money. It's real money.
Not in Louisiana right now. It's a poor state.
Yeah, they've got issues statewide right now.
Yeah.
Number 4 on the list, if you just care, is Kalani Sitake at BYU. So, okay.
If you had given me 200 guesses at the name of BYU's head coach, it would have been really bad podcast, but I would have lost.
You wouldn't have pulled out Kalani Sitake?
I would have
anytime soon?
never gone there.
I could have probably given you 10 guesses at nationality, and you would have not gotten it right.
It's probably safe.
Yeah.
Probably safe.
Most important job in the cycle, they said, obviously, is LSU.
Yeah.
This is all speculation, but it's what people do when they write these kind of stories. Candidate pool could include Justin Fuente, Brian Kelly, Jeff Brom, and James Franklin.
And I'm going to tell you where James Franklin gets interesting.
The Ohio State University?
Well, let's say James Franklin goes to LSU.
Okay.
And Moorhead does well at Mississippi State this year. That's where Penn State's going to go.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
They like him a lot.
potential hot spots as the year moves along. Just I'm finishing up the article here. Colorado, Georgia Tech, Illinois, Kansas State, Louisville.
How's Kansas State a hot spot? Because he might die.
I don't know about die, but yeah, but he's older. It says
He just signed an extension.
Yeah, through 2022. Let's see. Well, I mean, he did battle cancer last year.
That's true. And by the way, I'm not wishing any ill will on
He appears to be a wonderful human
Bill
being.
Snyder. Hope he lives a long, long time.
Yeah, it says the succession plan at K-State is messy, which could lead Snyder to coach a few more years, but there's potential for change.
Snyder wants his son to get the job, and nobody else there does.
Getting a lot of nepotism issues in Manhattan right now. Louisville, North Carolina, Notre Dame, USC, and Vanderbilt. Rounding out the list.
Yeah. Vandy's the interesting one.
He is 18-31 and 6-26 in SEC play.
Would Vanderbilt hire Hugh Freeze?
Come on, dude.
I know
How is that a fit?
Well, he's coached in the area.
Can't recruit there. Can't recruit. I don't know that they've ever had a top 100 signee. Ever. In the Rivals era. Don't say what you're thinking.
I'm not.
Good. Because there was about 3 different options on where that could have been going. I didn't like any of them. So, no.
Okay.
Where's Hugh going to land? What's his first head coaching job when he's back?
I don't know. If he wants a Power 5 job,
If he's a Power 5 head coach, where's it going to be?
it'd be something like that.
Virginia.
Virginia's got the same issues that Vanderbilt would have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an academic institution.
It is. Well, they all are.
But it's a prestigious academic institution, and there would be people that would scoff at that. I think it's in Hugh's best bet not to coach in the SEC. I think it's in his best interest to leave the area.
Go get lost for a little while.
Go coach somewhere else where all this stuff fades. Don't coach someplace where you're recruiting this area and all of a sudden people are saying, hey, you know. I still think he could be the offensive coordinator at Auburn in a year.
You like that little possibility, don't you?
It's possible.
Who's the OC right now there?
Lindsey, right?
Is it still him?
Yeah. Okay. Supposedly he's going to get a gig.
Really?
Yeah, like he's going to get like a Troy type of gig. In fact, I think that is the gig that people have targeted because they think Neil Brown's going to get a gig, and he would get the Troy gig.
Well, Neil Brown will be on a list at Texas Tech whenever Kingsbury's gone.
Yeah, Neil Brown could be a leading candidate at Texas Tech a week from Sunday.
Yeah. Because that will start immediately if they lose to Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah, the game's at 11?
By 3:30.
By 3:30.
Yeah.
You have hot seat.
All right.
If you're covering Texas Tech, and let's say Ole Miss pops them, you're putting
they get beat 49-31.
You're putting your hot board together because it's over.
Can't stop Ole Miss, can't score either, and game's over.
Well, the killer for him would be, I think they could lose a 49-42 game, and people would say, well, whatever.
That's what you do.
It's what we do, and they're really good on offense. And those receivers, we won't see those receivers again.
AJ and DK aren't on many Big 12 teams. It'll be all right.
But let's say, and I don't think this happens, but let's say it's 49-21. Oh, hell, we can't score either? It's time to make a change.
Yeah.
And then once that ball starts rolling, it's hard to stop.
Because Ole Miss's, reputation gets into that, and they go, that defense?
Yeah.
Couldn't score on that group?
Yeah.
And we gave up the 50 points?
Well, in fairness, people would say that team lost its 2 best defenders, and 4 teams ran for 300 yards on them last year. And we can't move the ball?
Defenders.
Yeah.
Marcus Gates.
Yeah. We can't move the ball? Is that fair to Ole Miss? Well, no, but you got to keep in mind, on week 1, nobody's really keeping up with, they had a pretty good camp.
Yeah,
It's all about last year and returning starters and stuff. And so if you're a Texas Tech person from that perspective, unless you've been really, really dialed into Ole Miss preseason, which is, how dialed in are we to Texas Tech? Not much.
No.
So unless you've been really dialed in, you look at it and go, oh, my God.
And they've got to get on the field in those black and red uniforms while other teams got all white on, too. So
because they're going to lose pregame no matter what.
It's hard to make Tech look good even with the red and black. It just doesn't.
If you're Tech and Ole Miss is wearing the all whites, it's indoors. You're not going to get dirty.
No.
What are you wearing?
You go all black, don't you?
No. Do you?
What's my alternative? You can't wear white, too, so what do you wear?
You can't wear white pants?
You wear white pants. You could put black on white or red on white.
I would be tempted to put the red jersey on a white pant.
With the black helmet?
With my black helmet.
Okay.
A little cleaner. That all black can make you look slow.
Look slow?
Yep.
Doesn't make you play slow.
No, but it can make you look slow. And if you get pounded, you really look slow.
So we're optics here is what we're doing.
You damn right.
Okay.
Perception's reality.
So in all white, Ole Miss will look bigger and faster.
Well, they'll look faster for sure.
Yeah. Well, white typically makes you look bigger.
It's going to be hard to look. Oh, by the way, did you see ULM's new road jersey?
No.
Road uni? White on white. It's actually kind of clean looking. I was proud of the Warhawks. Went kind of throwback with more the NLU type of emblem. Got away from the bird that doesn't exist.
The bird that doesn't
got to a little bit more of a. It's cleaner. And they're an Adidas school, by the way. Way down the list on Adidas, I'm sure, but they're an Adidas school.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Even the home stuff's okay. The maroon with the yellow. It's
I haven't
all right.
seen the home.
Here's the home.
I saw the road.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's got Warhawks across the front.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Not great, but it's okay.
Well, we'll talk about this tomorrow.
The road one just has ULM, so it
really?
has less letters, which I think is the less the better.
Yeah, don't crowd it.
Well, like Ole Miss, which I think is great. One of the things I love about Ole Miss's uniforms is they have the script,
just the logo,
and it's small. They don't spell out OLEM. It would just be, oh my God, stop! When they just get the little, it's nice.
This is what always used to crack me up on stage uniforms back in the day when they abbreviated their name to spell it out across the front. It said MISS period state across the front.
What are you doing?
Just put MSU in little things.
Yeah, where the hell was Hand Raised Guy that day? That dude, he was on vacation.
No, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I thought it was kind of interesting. A guy went through every MLB uniform. It was a Twitter thread. I think an Astros guy at least brought it up to some people's attention. Went through every uniform of every major league team throughout their existence and picked what he would wear home, alternate, and road for every team. We'll look at that tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be fun.
It was kind of interesting. He was a little flashier than maybe I would have gone for a lot of uniforms, but I'll dig it.
With the Astros, did he do the?
He did not pick the rainbows for the Astros. No. I don't think. Pretty sure I'm right there. I know we had a baby blue option in there for the Cubs, if I remember correctly.
It's good. It's a good look. They don't ever use it.
I forget what year it was, but they picked a baby blue version for the Cubs.
I wish the Cubs would at least make that their I wish they'd make it their road uniform because their grays are just kind of
Here, I actually will find the Cubs real quick.
All
We'll
right.
just do the Cubs, and we'll talk about everybody else
because
later.
the one that they wear now is the good home uniform. It's very good.
They're going by division, so 1 second. We'll get
You're
there in a
okay.
second. Oh, yeah, we're fine. If you're hanging in at this point, you're in.
Yeah, you're with us. A reminder real quick, while Chase is looking this up, Greatest Pod in the South, we'll tape it on Wednesday. It's a live show at Cathead in downtown Jackson. We'll probably start recording around 6. We'll be there by 5:30, so come join us.
It is a 1978 road jersey, the baby blue for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
What he chose.
I like that a lot.
It has the Cubby Bear on the shoulder and is it's a baby blue with pinstripes.
Yeah, I wish they would make that their road uniform.
Okay. We'll go through those some tomorrow and more